Come on into the room. The coachable, teachable, tradable. Post your city and state where you're catching this information from. On today, I am Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton, and today's information for this setup Sunday is regards to a piggyback of the collaborative information we discussed on last setup Sunday, as well as some very important information that I want to discuss with you guys with regards to the transition that's going on with the business. So, if you guys have not had the opportunity to see and catch and understand the video that I put out on this week with regards to the transition, I'm going to go ahead and get that up and running and let you guys watch that while I get ready to pivot and get up my other social media platforms. So I'm going to go ahead and open with that video, and let me go ahead and get that started. It'll mute me so you won't hear me, and the way the video, it's a portrait video, so it's going to be smack here in the middle of the horizontal frame. However, I think it's going to feel the actual portrait frame for some.
Clients, subscribers, followers, customers, friends, and more important right now, my business family. It feels like it's been a moment, and for that, I want to start with a sincere apology. I do apologize for our time apart, but more importantly, I really apologize for the gap in time it has taken me to discover the information that I'm about to share with you. I've recently been exposed to some information that has been, to put it lightly, mind blowing. The most humbling part is that this information has always been available, yet somehow I just missed it. And for that, I truly am sorry. I feel I may have let you down by not knowing this sooner. For so long, we've all been working hard to build our businesses, and I've been dedicated to providing you with the best guidance that I had. We've talked about LLCs and other structures, and I want to be clear, we didn't necessarily get it wrong. We got it right for the information that we had at the time. We just did the best that we could with what we knew. However, the game has changed because now we know better, and so we must do better. I'm inviting you guys to join me on a critical journey, a journey to revamp our business structures, moving away from what we thought was complete protection and toward what I now understand to be correct, legal, and legacy protecting registrations for our businesses. It's time to make the pivot to true protection. I ask you guys that you prepare your minds and your current business structures for this transition. It is going to be a process, and it will require us to unlearn and relearn some fundamental concepts. But trust and believe, I am committed to walking you through the entire process. As your brand master, you guys know I am your go to girl for simplified graphics that you can actually manage yourself. And as I learn how to get my own assets in order, I want to make provisions for you to get your assets in order as well. Again, this will take time, but I'm here for it all. I am here for you, with you, and indeed, as I said, I'm going through this process with you. I'm going to ensure that we all get this all the way right this final time and together. So stay tuned for more because more is to come.
Streets, it would be nice if I actually unmuted myself on my other platforms so they can hear me as well. But again, guys, come on into the room. Let visions speak. I know that's right. Let visions speak. Come on into the room and set a spell, okay? And continue to come back. Y'all come back now. You hear? Each and every Sunday at 6 p.m. And I was going into the part where I'm introducing myself and saying to you guys to come on into the room to actually get excited about the information that I'm going to be sharing with you all on today. Hopefully, I can get some of my volumes up in different areas. I can hear what I need to hear. You guys can hear me okay, and we can get everything pushed out. I have multiple things streaming on here today, but today again, I'm going to be discussing with you how to get your assets in order, and we're going to be discussing branding. If you have questions about branding, definitely thank you for liking the video. I really appreciate that. If you are interested in asking questions, you can pop those questions into any of the platforms, and hopefully it will pop up live on the screen so that I can see them and answer, and I'll be able to bring them up on these platforms over here, but specifically on TikTok. Hopefully I will be able to see and hear all of your comments as they populate on here so that I can get those answered here in real time as well. And so I have my second screen pulled up back here so that I can actually see your questions as they pop in. And if you have branding questions, take the opportunity to ask them live and I will answer them live. But again, I'm going to piggyback on some of the information that I've been sharing with you over the past couple of Sundays that I've also been sharing with you on Tuesdays, so that you guys can not make the $10,000 mistake that I made in branding. And of course, so that you guys can move forward in some sense of a blueprint, a framework, some sense of organization and order inside of your own brands, so that you don't fall into some of the pitfalls and some of the potholes that I fell in. So while you need some of those bumps and some of those bruises to help you flex your muscle and build your muscle and do better in your own right, I don't want you guys to stumble so much that you actually fall and fail. Okay, because again, as you see, it says up here on the thing up here is you can't fail until you quit. So I don't want you guys quitting, but I want you to be able to move forward, as organized as you can. And it's going to start, of course, with your thinking. So Henry Ford said, thinking is one of the most difficult tasks that you can do, honestly, as a person, but also as an individual. That's why so little people do it. And so I want to start with you guys understanding you must think through this process. Hey there, Valerie. You must think through this process. Everything that I'm going to be discussing with you on tonight, it's going to require you to think. The number one thing I also say about this thinking is that you begin with the end in mind. Therefore, now you have a compass from which to say no to all of the things that you should be saying no to, and yes to all of the things you should be saying yes to. Oh my goodness, thank you for that love. DJ Candy is in the house, showing the room some love. I greatly appreciate it, sis. I really, really appreciate it. So I start out by letting you guys know that I am a branding specialist and expert, whatever you want to call it. I was bestowed with the name Brand Master, and I absolutely endeavor each and every day to intentionally impact those that I come along this journey on, to help them understand what branding is, why you should brand, what the impact of branding is, where, when, who should be out here branding, and all of that. And so that's what a little bit of what we're going to discuss today to help you guys get your assets in order. And I don't know why my streaming is decided to mess up right now, because I like to have my music on, especially my Motown music on. And right now we Motown Christmas music on, but of course it's acting up, and maybe it'll fix itself. But anyway, hey there, Thrive with Jen. Come on into the room. Again, be coachable, teachable, trainable. If you would like to help me meet my gingerbread goal on tonight, that's a tradition that we used to do each and every Thanksgiving. I don't know if we're going to try and tackle that again, if we're going to let that go this year, and if we're going to start something else. Thank you for the like over here on this additional platform. I appreciate it. If you would drop a comment with your city and state where you're chiming in from, to help me see where this information is reaching out here in these internet streets, I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, so over here on my TikTok platform, you guys are available to help me. Indianapolis, Indiana. Indianapolis, Indiana in the house. Good. Thank you for that. If you guys would like to help me meet my gingerbread goal, I was saying that we used to have a tradition, and each and every year, my daughter and I, sometimes if my son was with me, we would always go ahead and grab the gingerbread men, the gingerbread houses, trucks, whatever it was, and then we would have a gingerbread contest. And we've done it. If you look on my timeline and type in November, probably for the past consistently 5 or so years. We have a contest each and every year to see who can design, the nicest gingerbread house or whatever. And then we would take the images and we would number them and put them on social media and have you guys vote. It was so cute, but for some reason we didn't do it this year. We haven't done it this year. We didn't do it last year. And I guess we're trying to figure out what our new tradition would be. How I ended up on gingerbread. Oh, because of my goal. Okay, I was going to say, how did I ended up on gingerbread houses when I'm supposed to be talking about business? Totally threw me off for a minute there. But specifically to the business endeavors that I'm not trying to help you guys completely avoid some of the blips and blunders that have happened. What I'm trying to do is help you if you have a stumble, if you have a trip, if you have a speed bump or whatever, that you gracefully glide over it and you keep going, because I've kind of prepared you, for what is going to happen. And this is driving me crazy, y'all, because I like to know what we're listening to so I can actually put a little trivia. Hey there, longevity. So I can actually put a little trivia in my lives as well. I like looking at the lyrics. I like knowing who the artists are and all of that. And so with Christmas music, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be able to guess all of these, but that's okay. That'll be fine. That was Mariah Carey we were just listening to, not the main Mariah Carey song. It was one of her other songs. And right now it's Giving Christmas, Chris Brown. We'll see if I can get some volume up on that and get it to come up. Can y'all hear that? Let's take a little bit of attendance while we're getting into that. Hey, longevity. As I said, if you guys want to chime in with where you are, East Coast, West Coast, Mountain Time, Standard Time, go ahead and chime in and type that in to the chat so I can kind of know where this information is reaching out here in these internet streets. And of course, tonight, if you have your branding questions, then go ahead and bring those on into the room so I can do my best to get any of those answered. For the past 2 Sundays, we've talked about branding. This month of November that we're actually concluding on today, we've talked about branding, the what, the when, the where, the why, the who, and I even gave you more information about the how, you should be branding and all of that. And hopefully you've had an opportunity to either check out the other platforms or to go back and look at some of the repurposed videos where I plugged in some of that information for you guys to kind of glean and get prepared for questions when we have this time on Tuesdays and Sundays, where I teach you some things on Tuesday. And hopefully we come on into the room on Sundays and we're actually able to get set up. So as we close out this month of November, we're getting set up to close out the year of December. And I am really excited about what 2026 is going to hold. We're releasing a brand new planner, the Cash Flow Queens Planner. This is the actual author copy, sample copy, and we actually start the promotions for this on tomorrow. So you have the entire 31 days of December to get involved with your planning to jumpstart the year of 2026, to do your 90 days of implementation so that you guys can, knock it out of the park in 2026. And we're going to use the Cash Flow Queens Goals Journal to start your 90-day implementation plan. And we start promotions for this on tomorrow. So yes, right now, if you chose to, you can go out to the Zon and you can actually, go ahead and purchase that out there on the Zon. However, the campaign that we're starting for that allows you to actually be listed in subsequent and more Cash Flow Queen journals and goals and planning, because each quarter we're going to list the previous quarter's affirmations from those who actually purchased it. So when you go in and you purchase your Cash Flow Queens journal, you're able to then submit affirmations for the following month. And the reason I'm doing that is because there are people out here who have a desire to start their business, and a part of their planning for starting their business is to become authors. And so one of the ways that we can assist with that is we can allow you to have some of your content, some of your affirmations or your story or some sense of your content published in advance. And we also give the opportunity for you guys to be able to sell the planner as well and to be able to earn from it. And so I think that was a pretty dope way to help the brand new startup and struggling business professional, new emerging aspiring speaker who is stuck or struggling inside of their journey to actually go ahead and get published, right? It's to allow them to collaborate with myself and my team to become a published, contributor inside of each subsequent journal. And so at midnight, you'll see some content be pushed out across the social media platforms for the Cash Flow Queens Goals Journal, the implementation. You'll be able to then, purchase your journal. And at that time, you'll be able to submit your affirmation as a collaborative partner with the Cash Flow Queens who are currently inside of the journal. And I know that's a big deal for a lot of people who've never been published before. I am currently this is my 10th publication. I am currently a 10-time published author. 5 of my contributions, 6 of my contributions have all been collaborative deals. And then I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of my items that are soul books from myself. I have a journal, I have a workbook, and I have a devotional journal. Okay. I have a 30-day journal, and then I have an actual workbook, all right, for youth lifestyle training. And now we have a planner. And so that makes the 10. Hope y'all can count because I generally don't do math in public. Okay. So that you guys can understand we've done this, been published in publications, magazines, books, authorships, co-authorships, and all of that. And I understand how important it is for people who have a desire to become published authors, how to do it. And I want to help you guys also avoid some of the just crazy mistakes that are out here that can be made, not only with your branding, with your publications and all of that. And so if you guys have questions about that, you can also drop that in the chat and we'll take the opportunity to answer those as well. Hey there, Demi. So good to see you. So let's do a little bit of accounting. We've reached 1,000 taps. I appreciate that so much. Demi, let's check you out. You don't yet have a bio other than mom entrepreneur. So if you are available to type in the chat what your specific entrepreneurial industry or, what that arena looks like, I greatly like to know more about that. You're doing quite well with your followers and your following. That's so good. If you guys have an interest in her mom life or her entrepreneurial life, definitely take an opportunity to follow her. Longevity has the same 1,043 followers, 1668 that you're following. Longevity, wellness, motivation, health, nutrition, fitness, and life. I'd like to know more about that as well if you get an opportunity to drop that into the chat. So you said, I'm a truck driver. So good to see you. Thank you for responding in chat. Sometimes you talk to people and they don't talk back. So thank you so much for responding in the chat. A truck driver. So you're on the road. I don't know if I could do that. I know it's a career that people seem to really enjoy because it really puts you, from what I understand, in control of a lot. But it also says entrepreneur. So do you own your own truck driving business, or is that your second wind? Is that your, I call it your second wind, or I call it your second career, or, your first, second, or third career? Or what exactly is that you're doing with regards to truck driving? Are you hauling for someone else full time, and now you're looking to pivot into entrepreneurship? And also, if you guys are Gen X or boomers, definitely type Gen X or boomer. Let me know in the chat, because of course, my specialty deals with helping the Gen X and the boomer to do what? Not struggle like I'm doing. That went down the wrong way. There's a mute button over there, so they don't get to hear all that. Definitely went down the wrong pipe. So let me see. Yes, I own my own company, Demi Logistics. I haul from the port. Wow, that's amazing. So you're fully branded, and what is your stance here on TikTok? That was two questions. Are you fully branded if you own your own logistic company? You probably are. And what is that role here on TikTok? Let me know. Those of you who are watching here on my other platforms, definitely comment in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. If you are currently branded, or if you're interested in knowing more or learning how to brand, definitely drop that in the chat as well, because I may be able to help you out by answering some questions that you may need. I greatly appreciate it. Do I have a title on this so you guys will know? I'm going to type that while I look for your answers over here as well. So I'll drop that there, and I'll add this banner here for Setup Sunday. Ask your questions live. This is William Bell. Every day will be like a holiday, I believe, is the subsequent part of that. Every day. There we go. He says, I am new to TikTok. I'm just trying to see where I fit in. Awesome. So let me tell you, I'm pretty brand spanking new to TikTok as well. I actually attend a HR/orientation. Okay, I have a TikTok coach here, and she actually walks us through orientation at 9:30. And so she is live daily on 9:30. I don't remember right off the top of my head what the theme for tonight will be, but anytime you'd like to join us at 9:30, her handle is @Heather.R41. Okay. Heather in HR, and in her office, she will help get you right so that you can understand where you fit on TikTok. Okay, so you saw me on Dwayne's live. He is helping me structure my business. I don't know when you saw when I went live and I opened up the stream tonight on my other platforms. I went ahead and played the video where I actually had asked him on last week when he pulled me up on the panel. I actually asked him on last week, how do I help transition my current clientele? Okay, that's where I came from Dwayne's live as well. Good. Well, I'm so excited to have you all here because it's an amazing journey, and I'm glad you guys are getting the opportunity to witness what he is walking me through in real time and the transparency. So he pulled me up a couple of days ago on his platform, and the question that I had at that time was, just in all honesty, what do I tell my current clients? Because I have a branding agency, and over the past decade plus, we have discussed how to transition yourself and how to begin to operate legit, legally. If you started out doing this as a hobby like I did, or you started out doing this as a hustle, they like to say, the question was, how do you transition it from being a hobby or a hustle into a business? Okay. And so having started this back in '05, when God pushed me out here into entrepreneurship, having survived, a stead with domestic violence, and ended up, separating, being a single mom of, 4 kids, 2 teenagers, and 2 under 2. It was a very, very, uh, it was a struggle during that time. Okay. And I was gently pushed and nudged into entrepreneurship because my thought process was, how in the world am I going to raise 4 kids on no income when we were already struggling to raise 4 kids, 2 adults on that one income? Because when my third son, fourth child came along, I had left corporate America. And I was a full-time, at-home mom, trusting that the husband was going to take care of the house while I took care of the household. And that, you have the white picket fence, dreams and all of that. Didn't work out that way. And so I was gently nudged into entrepreneurship because my thought process was, teenagers, I need to be at home paying attention. Two little babies. There was no way you were going to be able to afford before school care, after school care, and child care. I need to be at home. So I need to start a business from home. That's how I was gently nudged into this back in, '05, going through '05, '08, and here we are in 2025. All of that got started from hobby to hustle to sole proprietorship to LLC to, oh my goodness, I started a LLC, but I didn't register it right as its own separate entity. Went and registered a second LLC and had been doing that for so long. Here we are, probably we're in 2005. So 7 years after being an LLC, knowing that it's still wrong. What? Okay, who does that? Guilty. And so when I came upon his information, the first thing I did was go, why? Like, bro, what what are you talking about? Like, that dog won't hunt. What do you mean? And so, in listening to his information and taking the master class, mind being blown, eyes being open, my next thought was, well, what do I tell my clients? Because this is how I had actually created certificates and master classes and all of that to teach people how to go through the process of proper registration of their business name, of making sure they acquire their domain, so making sure they save their money and utilize their domains to parlay off of their offers into subdomains, to make sure they go through and get their email registered through their domain-based email, to make sure they understand getting a business address and getting a business phone number. And then, of course, then taking them through what their social media platform should look like, going through all of that and finally landing at the final process of register your LLC. What's wrong with my. Throughout all of that process, no one ever said, no class I ever took, all of those different processes and people never said you're still connected to your business. You're really wasting your time when you're setting up that LLC. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your efforts, you're not structuring yourself for protection. There's nothing in there that you can 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, without hiccups and what do you call them, center blocks to jump over, to get that stuff passed down to your kids. What do I tell them? That's what I came on and asked him last week. What do I tell these people that I have coached and trained wrong? And he said, the truth, right? You did the best that you could with the knowledge that you had. And now you know better. So now you should do better. He said, send them an email, let them know that you did what you could, you taught them with what you knew, and make sure they understand that you're now willing to hold their hand and walk them through how to fix that, how to change that, how to make the adjustments and the shifts that you need to make now. And so I actually created a video and decided to just do a voiceover, because I know the importance of actually seeing people and being able to have them hear your voice and see you physically, live. And it wasn't like I'm going to hop on this thing every day and just, beat people over the head with how apologetic I am for how I've coached them to make that decision, but now how I'm going to fix it. So I said, let me just put it all out all over social media. Let's just send all the correspondence out and let's see what will come back. And praise God. God is good. The response has been absolutely wonderful. People understand, because the reason that I think And I'm saying this because this is really what I believe. The reason that I think it's being warmly accepted is because everybody has heard get an LLC for your business. Everybody has understood that is what to do. So it wasn't like I made them learn something that was against the grain. So when I said it, it was like, oh, yeah, I did hear that's the way to do it. Let's do it. They went along with it. So now that I'm saying, ho, 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 there's a few things in the fine print that we now need to know, because this is actually the best protection, and this is actually the best way to grow and scale and to really, set yourself up. Now it's like they're going, oh, okay, I'm glad in my country twang, when is we? Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. And so it's been a warm response, and I'm really grateful for that, because again, you can only do what you know to do, and what you don't know is costing you. And one of my collaborative chapters here, I want to say it's in the You Are Enough, where we co-authored with Les Brown and Dr. Sherwood. I want to say we're going to see, I think this is You Are Enough, not What You Don't Know Is Costing You. What You Don't Know Is Costing You is the collaboration that we did in Women Crushing Mediocrity. And one of the things that I talked about in that book deal is that what you don't know is costing you. And the reason that it's costing you is because you don't know the correct application, or you don't know, the correct way to do something, or there's some fine print, or there's some bold print. Because I'm not trying to be funny. Does anyone know what LLC stands for? Of course you do, because you guys, probably have structured an LLC. Do you know what LLC stands for? And I ask for some of you watching on this platform. And thank you for the love and the likes. I appreciate it. And for your comments that you're leaving in the chat, I really appreciate it. Do you know what LLC stands for? If so, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you think LLC stands for. This is interactive. Let's talk to each other. Okay. Do you know what LLC stands for? Wish I had some Jeopardy music. Da, da, da. That's what they could add for one of these buttons down here. If you were to ask a question and then you say, do you know what something stands for? And we could hit a button and have Jeopardy music playing while they're answering. Yes, limited liability company. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm now learning how to really enjoy the etymology of words. What's wrong with that statement? What's wrong with that? Why would you want anything that you're attached to be named limited or liability? One, limited is a problem. Number two, liability is a problem. Who wants to be attached to that? But did it not go over your head? They say, hey, go get you. And then they spun it so that it had a positive twang to it. Oh, you're limiting your exposure to a dangerous situation. No, no, we all the way exposed. We're all the way exposed, and just don't understand just how exposed we are. Right? Number one, limited, but number two, the liability is still a liability. Two sides to every coin. Up, there's a down. Left, there's a right. In, there's an out. Liability, there's an asset. Like, put me on the asset side of this. Forget the liability side of it. So it's not that it's fine print. It's not fine print. It's out there big as day screaming if you pay attention to what's right in front of you. Like, once I started understanding some of the etymology of words and the way that you can actually manifest things, it deals with your belief, this, that, and the third. I really began to operate a little bit differently. It's very difficult for me now to say I'm sorry, because I'm not a sorry individual. However, if you even hear in the apology that I gave to the people that I've coached and trained to get their LLC, I said that I was sorry because I feel like if I would have paid attention if I would have looked more deeply, I may have would have gotten it because I completely understood the difference between a liability and an asset. If I'd have read further on the EIN website, not just listen to, oh yeah, and go get your EIN, I would have moved differently. Who knows what the EIN stands for? The EIN that you're told to go and get when, hey, Sassy Princess, when you're told to go and do your registrations and your setup. Who knows what the EIN, Jeopardy music, stands for? The EIN. And I promise you, I'm going to get into my content for tonight. Okay. Say it again and louder for the people in the back, Demi. Employer identification number. Hey there, Sassy. Thank you for responding in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. But here's the thing about the employer identification number. An employer, does that not seem to indicate that you're going to have some employees? But typically, when you register initially your LLC, you can do what? You can become a member of an LLC. That dog won't hunt. There's a mismatch. There's a mismatch, right? Yes, Deborah. And EIN is the employer. Yes. And LLC, she went and got the definition. My girl went and got the definition. Is a business structure, not a company, is a business structure that combines limited liability protection of a corporation. Nope. I don't know where we grabbed that from, but let me tell you, wrong. And now that I know better, we can do better, right? And like I said, hey, XZY, so good to see you. Sassy Princess said, what did I miss? A lot. No, you didn't. I'm actually just talking about the journey that I am now on to this information that Dwayne Williams and Mac Enterprise Consulting Group has dropped into my lap, the way that they have blessed my life, and the apology that I've had to send out to a host of people that I have coached over the last 10 plus nearly 2 decades to go and how to properly register their LLC. Now, we won't be walking back a single thing we've talked about domains. We will never be walking back a single thing that we've talked about owning your own name. We don't have to go back and walk back why you should own your domain, why you should utilize subdomains instead of getting a host and lots and lots and lots and lots of different domains, that you do need a business address, that you need a domain-based email. Praise God, we don't have to walk back any of that information, because literally Longevity and Demi and Sassy Princess and Tina, when I heard all of that, that was almost like the very next thing that I wanted to do. I literally wanted to go back and do a deep dive over and down and through and into the information at great scale, just to make sure there was nothing else that I would have to walk back. And the beauty of understanding LLC, literally, it says it in the name, went right over my head, right? It's limited liability. Number one, who wants to be limited in anything that you do? I want to be free to walk in his abundance, to do everything he has gifted and blessed me to be able to do. Yes, I said blessed it. Okay. He done blessed and esteted me with so many different things that I want to be able to walk freely in that journey for anyone who wants to, glean and be impacted by the information. So for me to hear that, it stopped me in my tracks. And when I hopped on his live last week, the number one question that I had was, how do I walk this back for my people? So that's really kind of where we are. And walking it back for them started with the transparent journey, letting them know that we do what we can with what we have, which is publication number 11 that's coming out. And it's to start now with where you are and what you have. Okay. That one's releasing in 2026. And to help people understand what you don't know is costing you. And even though we have schools and schools and schools of information that tells you to go to school, get a good education so you can get a good job so that you can, live this dream. We all know that that doesn't work. And the main reason it doesn't work because it tells you to get this good job so that you can live this dream, and then you get this good job, but then the good job that you got is not even remotely enough to cover the debt that you acquired in school. Or you go and you get this good job that doesn't cover the debt, or doesn't cover the mortgage or the car payment, because they're basing that on a gross when you bring home a net. It's so many different things, excuse me, and so many different loops and flips and flops that we go through. What's going on, DJ Ya? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's so many blips and blunders that you go through along this journey that are just plain wrong. So, Sassy Princess, I hope I have brought you to the front of the room and you see about where we are now. It's just the realization and the wake up that you kind of have to have, and you kind of go, just woosah, just woosah. And my question to him last week was, while I'm overwhelmed walking through the process of fixing my information, what do I tell these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients that I have gone through over the term of 10 plus nearly 2 decades? What do I tell them? And his answer was the truth. I'm still trying to clear my throat, guys. Bear with me. He was like, tell them the truth. You learned something, you taught them. It worked for the time frame for which you knew what you knew. Now you know better. Let's do better. And so that's where I am now. I put the information out. The feedback has been really, really good. And I was saying to Sassy Princess and Longevity is that the beautiful thing about it is people are responding warmly, and they're responding well, basically because there wasn't a lot of friction in me saying, hey, I taught you what I knew. It's well known everywhere to go get an LLC. And so by me saying, but there's a better way, there's a protected way, there's a legacy way, there is a way that, you guys know, and I'm sure you've seen the meme that's going around, is you can't pass the job down to your children. Before you are good and in the dirt, or before you are cast away, they've already found a way to replace your position. And most times they don't even show up to support the family that is now grieving your loss. Different things like that. However, your corporation will go on beyond you, especially when structured right. Your corporation doesn't go through, and again, this is not no CPA information. Yes, I said not no. This is not no CPA information. This is not no tax information. This is not no, what do you call it? Legal information. This is just what I'm understanding now. There are a lot of benefits that don't have to end up in court, going through probate and all those different things when an individual passes, because things have been set up, protected through corporations and trusts and things like that. And that is the proper way to set up business, not just for business, but for scalability and for growth, right? Not only that, but for management, for you to be able to get your time freedom back and all of that. There's a better way to do it. So while at the time you can't say LLCs were just wrong, they were right for what you knew. And had you paid attention deeply, had I paid attention deeply, I would have been able to see, hold on, this says employer identification number. There are no employees in this LLC. There are not yet any employees. That's not even in my blueprint right now. I'm just trying to put some kind of veil between me and the business to assist, called limited liability. But not trying to be funny. Where do you report the income, expenses, and all of that? for a limited liability company. I'll pause for the calls if someone would like to type that in. Where do you report the income and expenses for a limited liability company? Where does it get reported in taxes? Like, where, on what does it get reported on? Type that in the chat if you know that. Jeopardy music button TikTok needs to be added so we can dance to it. Da, 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 da. Okay. Where does the income, the expenses, and all of that get reported? Amen. And say it louder for the people in the back. On the employees' taxes, the 1040, the Schedule C, the profit and loss. It gets reported on the personal taxes. Hello, how are you separate and apart from that company? How are you protected? How is that income separate, shielded, veiled, distance? I need to pull up a synonym, or is it antonym? We don't do language in public either. Yes, Deborah, on that Schedule C, on that 1040, on your personal taxes. So how is it separate if you have to put it directly on your personal filings with the federal government every year? It's a full-blown liability. Okay, that is a lie about your ability to distance yourself and be protected from the negativity of your company. Thank you, Sassy. You are not separate. It's yours. Okay, so that's where I was at with asking for, because instantly when Dwayne sent me out of the house to go stand out and I had the light bulb moment, I was having that light bulb moment while coming back in to finish out the live with him. You are still responsible. Yes, Deborah. I was coming back in, okay, to have that continued conversation with him. And most times when you ask people, for their website, they're like, well, it's under construction. This is what I run into as a brand master. I'm not shading or shaming anyone, because you do what you can with what you have. You ask people, hey, do you have a website, or you're on social media? And you'll get, hey, well, actually it's under construction or whatever. That's not the case, because I actually have a branding agency that brands other people, that builds these websites, these funnels, these AI, these automation systems for other people. But he asked personally for mine. And I said, it's my name, because that's what I coach and teach and train people on. Number one, own your name. Right. And so I went to spell out my name. And the first thing he said was, well, that's got to change. It needs to be memorable. And on the live, I said, well, the name of the company is Family First Designs. You can go there, still going to bring you back to me. Or you guys know you can go to your brand master to bring you back to me. Either way. But what I was asked was, what is my website? I gave my name. So he pulled it up. He's combing through the website. I believe if you saw that particular live, we had a 404 area on the VIP day, and that's because I had changed the calendar appointment requirements. And so because I changed the calendar appointment requirements, and I had used, I forgot what the second one's called. I hadn't used the permanent link. And so, thank you for your daily heart, meet. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hi, beautiful homeschool mom, Batty. I tried to take myself out a little while ago, so I'm still trying to get my voice back. But because I had spelled out my name, he was going through the entire website, page by page by page, link by link by link, client by client by client. And he was combing through my brand. And I said, and I'm on social media, same, name or whatever, through all the platforms. And he was going through everything. And he was like, I'm impressed. I was grateful for that because again, you don't get the opportunity to you got to stay ready. Okay. You ain't got time to get ready when it's time to make that first impression. And so that's the reason why I do a lot of what I do and why I was so immediately impacted. Why I was so immediately impacted with how quickly I need to get my assets in order because I also understood who I currently serve, how many people I impact, how many other people that thank you for that, Batty. I appreciate that. Yeah, my I don't even know how to say my brain was trying to be in the moment and trying to humbly receive that the branding looked great and that he was, impressed by everything that he was seeing. But in the back of my mind, I was freaking out because I was thinking my clients, my friends, my business family. I was thinking about I was thinking about that I just dissolved my son's LLC because he's just like, I'm just not really wanting to do a business, and I was freaking out because I'm thinking about all the people that I impact. Hey, Kishona, I was thinking about all the different people that I impact. Thank you so much for all of those. I think those are the populars. Guys, please forgive me if I don't acknowledge some of this going on because, of course, my head is still spinning, learning everything that I'm learning here on TikTok. And I have the most amazing coach, Heather, in the HR office for everything she's teaching me about TikTok and what you should be doing. So also, please forgive me if I use some of those words that we shouldn't be using when I talk about the other platforms instead of saying what they are. I'm still learning. And so I was really trying to receive everything that he was saying. But while he was saying all that and he was talking about the way his company has shown up and shown out and blessed me, my thought process was, what about my clients? What about my business family? What about my friends? I have friends who have become clients who I now have friends that I actually run their brand. What about the business structure of all my people? That's what I was thinking. And I was thinking, okay, where do I need to go? And so when he was saying send the email, guys, you saw when he was saying send the email, I'm typing in the email. When he was, continued on with the live and the other information, I'm taking notes. Like I'm printing stuff. I'm doing exactly what he's saying because my first thought is my slogan is to get your assets in order. My slogan is to help people to become cash flow queens. Okay. I was sitting there having a moment trying to receive what he was saying, but I was like, what about my people? And you guys know, what do they say? In case of emergency, when you're on a plane, things are going, crazy, and it's time for you to do what? What do they tell you to do first? When you're at that time, something happens, you're listening to the lady standing up at the front of the cockpit, and she's telling you and she's sending you through all of these different, analogies. What is the first thing that they tell you to do? Save yourself. Put your own mask on, right? Yes. Fill your own cup. Excuse me. And so I'm hearing him, but my entire everything was going, but what about my people? And so again, that's kind of where we are now. I actually had a consult, and you all heard me say, I'm not going to keep trying to sound proper. Y'all heard me say on the live, what do I tell my client? Because this consult is about setting up her business. Her business is structured as an LLC. Her youngest son's business is what do you call it? Umbrella under her business. Now we're looking at her second son's business, and it's time to set his business up. And I know they just went through LLC registration. He's getting a contract. And I know we're building this website, and I finally had to stop because When they sent me his logo, I'm now redrafting the logo. But when they sent me his logo, it clearly said in the logo, LLC. And my everything in me went red flag, red flag, red flag. So because I know they don't want to lose the contract, don't want to lose and if this company is interested in them, they need to move forward. We're putting up the website. Everything's going to be a go. But everything in me, when I got on the call with her, the first thing I said was, how far down this road do you want me to go? Because I know we're on this call to help you build your business. And I'm going to take attendance in a moment because I see my numbers are going up. And I don't want anyone to miss out on the opportunity to connect with other people that are in here. But again, I asked her straight up. I said, you're asking me questions that I would love to be able to answer. Thank you for helping me meet my goal, Kishona. I appreciate it. You guys see it? That was my question. How far down this road do you want me to go? Because I'm going to be honest with you. You're asking me a question that I would love to be able to answer, but I'm now dual-minded. And I want to answer you in honesty, but I want to answer you in a way that you understand that I really am answering you for your best scenario, situation, and all of that. And so I don't want you to think I'm also answering you to try to gouge you for more money or any of that. But I need everything that you're doing right now. I need you to press pause for a minute. Because the first problem that we have right here is your logo has LLC in it. And yes, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when we first started discussing all of this, yes, that was one of my questions. Are you guys properly registered as an LLC? Because I literally stopped accepting clients who were not correctly registered. Literally this year, I stopped accepting clients who were not properly registered. Why? Because if you go to my website, if you go to yourbrandmaster.com right now and you scroll down and you look at who my clients are, they're a representation of me. They're a representation of my work. That's their business. That's their brand out here in these internet streets, but it's a representation of what I do. And I don't do work I don't believe in. I have turned down people because that dog won't hunt. That don't make sense. I can't wrap my mind around something. And I literally would not accept the project. So I got to this point this year where I said, no, if you're not properly registered. Mind you, how do I do that? How do I tell people to get their assets in order when now I know not even mine were in order because I'm registered as an LLC? So I had to say to her, yes, 2-3 weeks ago, I said this to you 2 or 3 weeks ago. I wanted to make sure that you guys went through and I was looking up on the public information on the Secretary of State website to make sure that what you're saying is accurate. I have clients who may be on my other platforms here that will tell you I sent them out reminders beginning of the year, usually around February, to let them know April 15th was coming and they need to make sure they handle their renewals for their LLCs. So again, when he would say, you shouldn't, you're not protected, I was having all kinds of freak outishness. Okay. And I had to say to my client, yeah, 2-3 weeks ago, I wanted to make sure y'all were properly registered. However, everything is going to change for you. She was like, well, what do you mean? I said, everything is going to change for you. And the main example that I gave her, and I'm going to take attendance, the main example that I gave her was the example that we just went through when we got started tonight, guys. I asked those 2 questions. What does EIN stand for? And what does LLC stand for? And then the third thing I asked, where does the LLC report? What structure, what piece of paper, what legal must have has to happen every year for your LLC? And when I say I could see her entire, I could see the steam about to come out of the top of her head. I could see it happen. So before I move into the second part of this and we get ready to get on up out of here and I get to these three things that I'm supposed to be discussing with you guys on tonight. Keishona Lane is number one in the room. She has nearly 3,000 followers. Hello, I am here to vibe and make some money. Probably the paper that folds, not the coin that drops. Okay, not the coin that clinks, as I say. But she says, I am here to vibe and make money. She is a quality engager, as you guys can see. Quality engager. We got to find some better words, TikTok. But she is number one in the room. Thank you so much for all of your love. Let's see, Demi, I am now following you back, sis, and hopefully we can get you into the 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the HR office. Maybe you can come back and join us tonight at @Heather.R41 so that she can help you, really ramp up your lane, what it is that you're trying to do, why you're here, the exposure that you're looking to probably do more and better with for Demi Logistics and all of that. And she can help you find your footing here on TikTok. Once again, we have number 3 spot, longevity, with a little over 1,000 followers, as you see, has been engaged in the chat. I greatly appreciate that. Home school mom baddie, over 10K followers. Absolutely. Okay. And she is Christ first. Hello, hallelujah. Praise God. And thank you, Jesus, helping overwhelmed moms to unlearn, relearn, and begin their healing journey. She's a live host on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Honey, I probably just went to bed a couple of hours before that because I usually work throughout the middle of the night. Okay. But again, she is a live host on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. She also has the availability for you to book consultations with her. Sassy Princess, we are looking to help you to develop your bio. You right now are brand new. Again, you should also join us tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Heather.R41. It is the HR office. She will be able to help you guys to understand how to grow here on TikTok, how to get your footing, how to get your content up and going. She is the individual who helps you go from 0 to 1,000. If you're trying to be TikTok famous, that is not her lane. She will tell you that is not her lane. That is not her interest. But if you are trying to impact and grow and scale here on TikTok, she is the teacher to help you in orientation, to get your TikTok orientation together. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for tonight. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. Who is that? Demi? Great. Thank you so much for your heart. I greatly appreciate it. The other thing about the next individual, if I were going to suggest people for you all to continue to follow, it would be Nicole. She is the entrepreneur at home mom. She's also a content. She's more of the teaching you how to find the great rooms and the grow rooms so that when you go to those particular rooms, she has a checklist. She has a little piece of paper. She calls it her raggedy piece of paper, and she teaches you how to write down and pay attention to specifically what to do in the great rooms and the grow rooms to start to grow yourself from 0 to 10,000. Okay. And again, if you're trying to figure out what to do, how to set yourself up, how to make yourself well known inside of those big oceans, and you being a little fish, she is actually live each and every morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And her, I think it's T Money, if I'm not mistaken. Her handle is T Money, TEMONEY, but it's Nicole at home entrepreneur at home mom. Okay. Y'all can look those two up. I always suggest those two because to me, and this is just me, again, I have been on TikTok since the pandemic, did not have a clue. I have only been working with these two ladies for the last maybe 3 weeks. Okay. And I'm really understanding how to live host, if this is what you want to call that. I think this is just me being live as a content creator. I don't yet run panels. I'm pretty sure I'll probably get into that because I know the number one panels that I plan on running deal with bringing my clients into panels so that they can get on this platform. They can learn from Heather and Nicole on this platform, and they can begin to host their information and talk to people and get exposure. Those are probably the way that I'm going to utilize the panel option, should that be, the way that these two ladies coach me to do it. So thank you so much for that. Again, I did say I wanted to get out of here at the hour mark. I'm not sure if that's what TikTok likes or doesn't like, but I do want to make sure that I comb through these three things to make sure you guys understand. I started out talking about the thinking that is required for this entrepreneurial journey. And like I said, Henry Ford says, thinking is one of the most difficult things that entrepreneurs don't do. It's the most hardest thing that they'll do. That's why so little people do it. I'm pretty sure I butchered that quote, but the point is, it takes a lot to think through a process. The second thing I want you to take away from that is that you should begin with the end in mind. I'm on that platform. I'm listening to what Dwayne was saying to me, and I'm thinking about the end result of my journey and how I want to be able to grow and scale and to help other people, with their brands and making sure that they're avoiding this $10,000 mistake that I made over the course of branding well early on, when $10,000 was a whole heck of a lot of money when you're first starting out with branding, and how to help those people avoid, blunders that cause them to quit. And I'm listening to him and I'm thinking, but what about my clients? You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about their end in mind. And I know, the word says about being double-minded, it's not good for you. I'm not a scholar. Please don't, hit me over the head with the incorrect way that I'm saying it. But I do know it's saying being dually minded and double-minded is not good. But that's what I was thinking. Hey there, Ricky. So good to have you. That is exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself, what about my clients? So that second thing that I want you to think about when you're getting ready to start. Hey, Crosby's, so good to see you. When you're thinking about any part of your journey, begin with the end in mind. Now, let me think. Do I want to go here? It's not that I'm going to go here because I don't have it fully fleshed out what I want to say for this. But you guys know, especially you being really Christ-centered, homeschool mom baddie, I know you understand the manual that was given to us. I don't know if that's a word I should or shouldn't say, BIBLE. I don't know if you know or you look at the manual that was given to us. There's so many different examples in the BIBLE where they talk about it's already been written. What's supposed to happen is already, it's already written. The end is already, whatever we're supposed to get to, all of that good, whatever we're supposed to get to, it's already in existence. We just have not arrived at that point. We haven't, ascended and become, as you guys hear me say from the quote inside of the book here. When you focus on the becoming, the doing, and the having take care of itself. It's already decided. It's already done. You just have to become the person that steps into the abundance. So if you think about that mindset of beginning with the end in mind, right? We already know, most of us, what our end we think it should be. We already know that. So now we should be moving along the road. Thank you so much for that, Heartmeet. I appreciate it, Crosby. Especially now that we're back, and I made that blunder muting you that time because I misunderstood the comment that you said. Thank you for coming back. Again, this is the type of people that you want to have inside of your communities. You want to have on your lives. You want to be, discussing things with them. And let me take your attendance real quick before I get out of here. 382 followers. Crosby now has a bio. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and your manifestation soon follows. I absolutely love that. So again, beginning with the end in mind, okay, in everything that you do. One of the reasons I enjoy beginning with the end in mind is because it also gives me permission to say no. It gives me immediate permission to say no. If I begin with the end in mind, then I already know what the big picture looks like. I already know what it is that I'm going to do. I already know what the end for myself or whatever the situation is, what I want that to look like. So when anything comes along this journey that's not aligned with that big picture, it's an easy no. It's the automatic no. It's almost like it's no need for the people who hit us in our DMs to be like of a certain stature, of a certain zhuzh that we put out. There's no need for half the people who hit you in your inbox to hit you in your inbox because you're not going to answer. They know they don't have a shot, so they don't even hit the inbox most times. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it allows you to rule out. It allows you to pop some tires. It allows you to just what's that little thing we've been seeing a lot? Popping of the balloons. It allows the balloons to automatically pop because you already know you're not a contender. All jokes aside, in all seriousness, it allows you to rule out a lot of things that you may have wasted time entertaining if you already know. I need to make sure I don't be choking up because this is like trying to take me out of here. I'm not even going to be able to get to point number 3. Breathe. And the third thing is intention. If you already wake up, move, go, do, start your day on the right, in the right, full of the right intention, it completely changes the trajectory of your day. And if you pay attention to the energy that you use, it literally can shift the energy of others around you. Your intention is everything. I know for me, there have been times that because we're in a house with 4 complete human personalities and we have 2 additional animal personalities, that honestly, I have been able to sense when I wake up sometimes something is just off. Something is just off. Something is just off. Something in the energy is just off. And I kid you not, within a time frame, 15-30 minutes or so, my daughter will come in and she'll just off, or she will just had a horrible whatever, or a bad shift, or my son, it's just off, right? And I got to a point where I was reacting to that because I didn't understand. I wasn't dialed into my own energy. But now I can be at a point where I wake up, and because I know about setting my energy and the quantum, if my bestie was watching, she'd know what I was talking about. I'm able to say something feels off about this house. So let me just get still for a minute. Let me get still for a minute. Let me set my intention. Let me think through. Let me see myself in my abundance. Let me shift the energy. And I kid you not. I kid you not. Over the course of a little bit of time, her energy would change. His energy would shift. We're all energy. We all have the ability, but only if we believe. My chapter in this book, but only if we believe. Okay? We have the ability to do that. We have the ability to shift the energy. We have the ability to set our intention and watch the energy around you shift. I do it every day, multiple times a day at this point. So your intention is everything. Now, here's the caveat, the bonus to that as we close out. The bonus to that is you might want to make sure you're aligned. ALIGNED. You are aligned with Him, His purpose for you, your passion for Him, your gifting. You want to make sure you're aligned. And the reason you want to make sure you're aligned, because who wants to spend time spinning your wheels, burning up smoke, to only end up having to be redirected back to what he has already determined is the reason you're here? Why you wake up every morning saying mobile and breathing. You guys heard Dwayne as he closed out the last call, and he was talking about, gratitude. The first thing I think as I rise out of sleep before I'm actually fully awake, there's this space of cushion of time in there. That's where I literally tap into making sure that I'm sane, because I'm sitting here thinking it. I'll stretch and I'll do all the things to stretch, taking in air, releasing anything negative, staying mobile and breathing. That's my exercise every single day. That's my gratitude. Before I actually am fully awake, before my little doggies done jumped on the bed, well, I can't say little because Mello is a 100-pound lab mastiff. Before they pounce on me and make me get up, that's if they didn't end up sleeping in my son's room overnight, sane, mobile, and breathing. Just gratitude for that. Then I began to think about this abundant day, about the good energy, about what is it that he has for me to do in this world today. That's my intention, to focus on that, because y'all already know it's enough. Y'all already know it's more than enough going on out here in this world today that literally could make you quit. So guys, take the opportunity to think. Take the opportunity to begin with the end in mind, and take the opportunity to set your intention. I want you to think about that every single day for these next 31 days and 4 hours and 46 minutes. Okay. I want you to do that. And I want you to see how quickly your 2026 can change. Do I have any new peoples in the room? It looks like everybody has announced, spoken, and all that in the thirds and did all the things themselves. Thank you so much for that. I hope to see you guys at 9:30 tonight in the HR office. I hope you were able to take something from just those 3 things on today. I have long form that is over here recording. I'll be repurposing this information across the multiple platforms as some of my content for this week. I'll be talking, like I say, in 2026, my goal is to take client information and begin to broadcast the transition. Praise God for the transition that I will be going through, that I will be taking each of my clients through. I will be documenting the process, DTP, as I say. I'll be documenting the process of what I'm going to do for these signature clients. That's what I determined to call them. These signature clients that are on this journey with me, and how we will be shifting their business structure, and how we will be growing and scaling their brands. Hopefully I will garner the interest of my son to a point where he's like, okay, well, maybe I may, rejoin the ranks of business ownership with you, Mom. We'll see. We did go through registrations in the month of August and September. We're on sam.gov. We have everything set up the right way, just the wrong structure. And I want to make sure that I document the process to show you guys, you know, how we're going to do this. We're going to do it the right way. Then we're going to take clients and we're going to send them through the process of doing it the right way. We're going to track everything in our Cash Flow Queens journals. We're launching this campaign at midnight to the first 100 are going to be autographed copies, and the first 100 are going to allow those people to become published authors with us in the quarterly planners that are going to be distributed in 2026. So if you're looking to become an author, you definitely need to take the opportunity to get more information from the profile, come into the community, you know what I'm saying, and begin to submit your information, because I would love to have all of you guys to become published author. You guys know we're in technology, but this printed word here, these books here, they ain't going nowhere. But print is not going anywhere. Okay, that lives on forever. That lives on forever. And I would love to have your affirmations, your thoughts, your desires, and I'll read you a couple that are in here. Your thoughts, your desires. We have a John Maxwell one in here. Have a vision of excellence, a dream of success, and work like hell. That's what John Maxwell said. We have one in here from Dr. Cheryl Wood. Somebody is waiting on what you're sitting on. She is the SpeakerCon visionary and founder. We have another one in here from Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. So there are affirmations that I would love to help you guys become published authors with. Denzel Washington, don't aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. Okay. My ultimate goal is to help each and every one of you leave your mark. Okay. It is to help you leave your mark. I want to be the mantle mom. I want to have something on mantles everywhere, whether it's in hotels, whether it's in universities, whether it's in homes. I want to be on mantles having had amazing impact. And I would love to help you guys leave your legacies behind for generations to come as well, to leave your affirmations behind for others to come along and read those as well, for your impact to be beyond your life. Okay. I don't want you guys taking all of those gifts that were put inside you with you when you go away from here. I want you guys to leave some of that behind. And I would love to be a part of your journey that leaves some of that behind. So as I said before, you know, you can go up here, you can look at the profile, you can tap on the options, you can come into the community and become a friend. Yes, it's going to ask you, do you know you're leaving the platform? Yes, you know you're leaving the platform because you're trying to get into the community. Do that at another time. Don't do it now, because then it will say that I done took y'all away from here, and we don't want that to happen. Okay. So take the opportunity to go up there and to join us over inside of the community. So what I'm going to do now is something new that I learned before we close out. I'm going to change my goal, and thank you guys so much for assisting me with meeting my goal. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to change my goal. If somebody wants to hit one more gingerbread man, that will help me have met my goal, and I will feel really good about it. Did I do it right? Yep, I did it right. Okay. I will feel really good about it, having met my goal. And again, hopefully, okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So we have met the goal. You guys need to remember that little tip. So it shows TikTok that I actually met my goal. And thank you guys for your participation on tonight. Thank you. Love you. We're actually getting ready to close out. If you have not had an opportunity, go take attendance. Love you. Look up there, find someone that you actually are aligned with, follow them, support them, engage with them. And hopefully I'll see you guys in about 2 short hours in Heather in HR for those of you who are looking to learn more. And I will be live at some point on Tuesday. I haven't decided on the time for Tuesday. I'll be live at some point on Tuesday, but if not, I'll see you right here, same bat channel, same bat time, 6 p.m. in the month of December on next Sunday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Demi. I hope to see you tonight. Watching on my other platform, I will be repurposing this information across all of my platforms Hopefully you found something of good value on tonight, that you had an opportunity to really dial into the information that I talked about on today. Look for the email that is going to come to you guys to let you guys know about the transition and the shift that I'm talking about. And if you haven't had an opportunity and you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, take an opportunity to follow me over on TikTok as well, so that you can continue to get more of this information and I can help you grow on TikTok. It ain't about just dancing. I thought it was too. That's why I didn't pay it no attention. But there is so much community building that we are allowed to do inside of TikTok that I haven't seen available on YouTube Shorts. I haven't seen it available on Facebook Reels or Stories. I definitely haven't seen it in IG Reels. So please take the opportunity to join us over on TikTok so that you can find out more. I greatly appreciate you guys on tonight, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. To your success. Good night, everybody.